A pleasant day, everyone. I am Rapi Contin. I am the first presenter of Group 8. So for today's video is about water. But before we start, let us know what are the topic to be discussed. Number 1, water use to be discussed by me. Number 2, water compartment and availability to be discussed by Mr. Barricas. Number 3, water pollution to be discussed by Ms. Mantalaba and Mr. Suwan. Number 4 is environmental effect of water pollution to be discussed by Ms. Malinkis. Number 5 to be discussed by Ms. Lasuta, which is the treatment. And number 6 is loss in policy to be discussed by Ms. Dudley. And now, before we start, let us know first what are the objectives of this video. First, at the end of this video, students develop an understanding of why it is essential to take care of our water use. Number 2, students will comprehend the water cycle and its process. And now let us first know what water is. Do you know that water is an inorganic, transparent, tasteless, odorless, and nearly colorless chemical substance, which is the main constituent of Earth's hydrosphere and the fluid of all known living organisms. It is vital for all known forms of life, even though it provides no calories or organic nutrients. Because it provides when we are dehydrated. So it is a compound of hydrogen and oxygen which form whenever two or more atoms form chemical bond with each other. The chemical formula for water is H2O. Each molecule of water consists of one oxygen atom chemically bonded to two hydrogen atoms. Now we know what water is, let us proceed to its process. So what it is process, diba, as we remember from grade 7 or grade 6 ata, tinuturo na sa atin yung process ng water cycle. So let us get back to the topic. First is evaporation. So what is evaporation? Talking about evaporation, focus on the water cycle begins with its process where water at the surface turn into water vapors. Water absorbs heat energy from the sun and turns into vapor. Water bodies like the ocean, the seas, the lakes, and the river bodies are the main source of evaporation. Through evaporation, water moves from hydrosphere to atmosphere. As water evaporates, it reduces the temperature of the body. So number 2 is condensation. As water vaporizes into water vapor, it rises up in the atmosphere at high altitude. So the water vapor change into very tiny particle of ice. So pag tapos nagiging water droplet ito, so it is called condensation. So this particle come close together and form clouds and fogs in the sky. So number 3 is what we call sublimation. So sublimation is apart from evaporation. It is a contribute to water vapors in the air. So sublimation is a process where ice directly convert into water vapors without converting into liquid water. So this phenomenon accelerate when the temperature is low or pressure is high. The main source of water from sublimation are the ice sheet of the North Pole and the South Pole and the ice caps on the mountain. Sublimation is rather slower process than evaporation. So number 4 is what we call precipitation. So the clouds condense water vapors, diba, then pour down as precipitation due to wind or temperature change. So this occurs because the water droplets combine to make bigger droplet. Also, when the air cannot hold in more water, it precipitates. At high altitude, the temperature is low and hence the droplet fall down as rain. So if the temperature is very low, like 0 degree, then the water droplets would fall as snow. Kaya nga, sa North Pole ay sa Greenland, kadalasan, di ba, maginaw ang lugar nila. So in addition, water could also precipitates in the form of drizzle, sleet, and hail, or hence water intakes lithosphere. So step 5 is what we call transpiration. So talking about transpiration, focus on precipitates. Some of it's absorbed by the soil. So this water enters into the process of transpiration. Transpiration is a process similar to evaporation where the plants turns liquid water into water vapor. The root of the plants absorb the water and push it towards leaf where it is used for photosynthesis. The extra water is moved out of leaves through stomata or very tiny opening on leaves. As you can observe naman, maliit na bangag. So as water vapor does, water enter the biosphere and exit into gaseous phase. So number 6 is runoff. As the water pours down, and whatever forms it is, it leads to runoff. Runoff is the process where water runs over the surface of the earth when the snow melt or even the snow melt into water. It also leads to runoff. As water runs over the ground, it displaces the topsoil with it and moves the minerals along with the stream. This runoff combines to form channels, river, and ends up into lake, seas, and ocean. Here the water enters hydrosphere. So number 7, which is the last step, is infiltration. So what is this infiltration? Some of the water that precipitate does not run off into the river, and it is absorbed by the plant or gets evaporated. It moves deep into the soil, so this is called infiltration. So the water seeps down and increases the level of the groundwater table. So it is called pure water and is drinkable. The infiltration is measured as inches of water soaked by the soil per hour. And now we are done with water cycle. Let us proceed to its important. First is for people use. Why is it? We use large amount of water each day, serving many different purposes. We use water for drinking, doing the dishes, showering, flushing the toilet, cooking, dinner, and many other purposes. But water is used for domestic purposes. Humans also use water in industry and agriculture. So number 2 is water is useful as a resources. Bakit kaya nalaga ang water as a resources? Because the most significant use of water is to produce hydropower by harnessing its energy. Compared to other resources used to produce energy and power, what is considered renewable and has the least solid waste during energy production? Diba may mga ibang energy na pinagkukunan natin na nakakapag-cause ng erosion or something that it also create a global change or it contribute to the global climate. So number 3 is what we call for our health. Yes, our health. So around 60% of our body is made up of water, and we can only live 3 days to 5 days without fluid. So that is mean water plays many essential roles in the body, including flushing waste from the body, regulating body temperature, and transporting nutrients necessary for digestion. Kaya nga, mahalaga talaga na malinis yung tubig para na rin mas maganda yung nakukuhang nutrients ng ating katawan. Ang tanong, mabubuhay kaya ang isang tao kung hindi makakainom ng tubig sa isang araw? So, do you know that the human body needs a lot of water to function correctly? And a person may only survive a few days without it. So, many other factors such as a person, activity level, and environment also plays an essential role. So, there is no reliable way to tell how quickly someone would die from dehydration. And number 4 is the most important, is about its contribution to our environment. Water for the environment is used to target specific outcome for plants or animals by providing the right amount of water at the right time for them to feed, breed, and grow. It is a critical tool to support the health of rivers and wetlands and support the communities that rely on them. So in other words, ang pagpapakahulugan nito na ang water link is help also to maintain our ecosystem on the planet. So the main function of water is propel plant growth, provide a permanent building for species that live within, or provide a temporary home or breeding ground for multiple amphibians, insects, and other water-breathed organisms, and to provide the nutrient and mineral necessary to sustain physical life. As nature's most important nutrient, people need water also to survive. So, in other words, water helps to transport oxygen, minerals, nutrient, and waste product to and from the cell. So, the digestive system needs water to function properly, and water lubricates the mucous layer in the respiratory and gastrointestinal as the medium for the metabolic function and other chemical reaction that produce energy in the body. So, This is mean that water regulates body temperature and serve as padding between the spinal cord and the brain and between the joints and the skeletal system. So number 5 is the importance of water of all life. So this is the main conclusion. Looking at the planet from space, if the water Earth were hypothetically a body, then water would be its lifeblood. Like air, sunlight, food, without water, there would be no life on the planet. When humans change an ecosystem without truth to maintain its natural balance, the cycle of life in the ecosystem can skew to one side or other and disrupt the delicate equilibrium necessary to sustain the community. So what does this mean? So this is mean that some species may die off and other may thrive. But in the end, the symbiotic relationship begin to break down and the ecosystem dies. So that is what we call global warming and climate change caused by pollution are on track to do just that unless humans work together to restore the natures and balance. And that is the end of my video. Hope that you have learned something. Thank you for watching and God bless us all.